I am an artist and I'm also a scholar. That is what I consider an artist and a scholar. In the artist, I consider myself as a visual artist who is more on paintings and graphic designs and any other visual aspect that's going there, like drawing and even fashion sketching, which I actually teach at many institutions. Obviously, my interest in the scholarly world, it is into arts, and mostly it is fine art, and specifically it is into painting. And even currently, what I'm researching in it is on the materials and even the culture. How does this material and culture work? So that is my scholarly area, which I'm currently focusing, and I'm also looking forward to focus more in future as I move forward. I tell myself that I became an artist when I was in my primary school, and it came with a lot of curiosity, whereby I used to see one of my neighbors was doing some painting, so I could sit and watch how he was doing such kind of art. Then, because art at that time and even today were not considered the most important, my parents, my neighbors, started restricting me from pursuing art. But when I went now into high school, I thank God that I met a very good lecturer, a very good teacher who introduced me now into art. And that was in Kimilili Boys High School many years ago. And I credit my art to him a lot, because he inspired me a lot to venture into art, and until today. And again, I'm still doing art. Based on my background with the resistance from the art, I can plead with the parents to encourage their children to do art. Because because personally, art has transformed me in terms of the speech, in terms of the knowledge, even in terms of how I look at. So for me, even today, I'm a champion that parents, can you leave your children to do art? Can you let them express themselves? They might not be an artist, but somehow it's going to influence and even to make their life better. From my perspective as an artist. In high school, as I've told you earlier, that I came across what to call a good Samaritan, a teacher who is still alive today. He's called Mr. Sting. He encouraged my art a lot. In fact, I realized that he was one who was managing art and craft, the whole art and craft in that school. And then when he saw that I had interested with art, what he did, he encouraged me to do art. And from there, he even opened for me many doors, how to survive. He could bring me some certificate, could give me some commission arts. Then even the school itself, it had also a good environment for art. I remember, in the form 1, you were 30. Then in form 2, we reduced a bit. But when we were doing form 4, we had at least a good number that the institution had encouraged us. So high school played a lot of part in my artistic development, as I can call it. After high school, so when we were now in form 4, what happened? Maybe that's a story. What happened? The teacher that was teaching us art, got transferred to another school. So we remained orphaned for about 6 months before we did our KCSE examination. So that one actually made a lot of students to drop art. So I remember that I remained 2 of us, me and my other friends. And when we were doing now the KCSE art certificate, we didn't have that much guidance. Unfortunately, when the result came for the art, I personally, I did not pass it well. Yeah, I got a B, which I really cried because I wanted to only get an A. Yeah, then from there now, when I finished now from 4, I went to Mombasa. And that is where now the story now came. So in Mombasa, again, my supporting group, they didn't want me to pursue art. But deep inside my heart, I can tell you the truth, because for me, I've been wanting to be an artist. Even today, if you tell me what to do, whom do you want to become? I tell you I want to become an artist. So when I went home, my dad had been transferred to Mombasa. Then they wanted me now to pursue other courses. They wanted me to become a military, to become a police officer, to become a teacher. But I said, no, Mom, me, Dad, and my uncles, me, I want to be an artist. So that is where now the hell now came into my life. So this one person called Mike Gitonga. I am forever grateful for Mike Gitonga. For him, he used to just like art. So when I went and told him that for me I want to become an artist, he told me, yeah, you can become an artist. Why don't you see your life through art? Then he housed me. And when he housed me, that is the time whereby I used to walk around in Mombasa Polytechnic, getting some works, getting some what to call this, kuchora kwa ukuta, doing some murals, doing some simple work. By that time, I was not well paid. Then I bumped into a college called Mombasa Polytechnic. Then I don't know how courageous am I, but I went to that college, met the dean, and told him, can I come here and do some graphic design? He said, yes. In fact, graphics has art. You're going to draw, you're going to paint, and you're going to do many other things. So, but I had done now one I can say, is it disadvantage? One disadvantage. The school had hold my certificate because I had not paid the school fees. By that time again, I remember the government had released certificate for people. So that teacher told me, you go to your school, take certificate, come here, come here, let us see if you can start your actually diploma in graphic design. So I went to the Mike Gitonga, I shared with him about it, and he encouraged me. Then when I went to my school, I got my certificate, and that's how I did my graphic design at Mombasa Polytechnic for now 3 years. Now, I remember again when I was now in Mombasa Polytechnic, I was suffering from low self-esteem because of many voices about my art. But there's a teacher whom he realized that I was stammering. That anytime I could talk, I could fall down, I could shake my body, I could do it. So he told me, Wanyama, anytime we are doing a pinup for graphic design, I want you to come and do what? And start presentation. So that's how I know myself now. That's how that's how I developed my self-esteem to be high esteem, and even just have courage that this art is valuable. From there, I came to Nairobi, and in Nairobi, it is again a very long story, but to cut it short, I found myself in Kenyatta University, and because I went to Kenyatta University, I had a lot of experience in Nairobi doing graphic design for my churches, for people around the town, for my friends, which again helped me to have some funds to secure my certificate from Mombasa Polytechnic to KU. There's also a very long story. Maybe we'll discuss it later. Then in KU, I picked to do drawing, graphics, and painting, and I majored. But I majored in painting because I wanted now to express myself more. Because I realized from my perspective that graphic design, it had a lot of limitation or even some convergent thinking. So I said, can I just express myself and see how painting is going? I joined KU in 2014. The other years I had actually spent now doing my graphic design, and I joined it because I wanted to now sharpen my painting skills more early. Then from there, in KU, that's where my painting abilities, my painting skills, and the world view open very precisely. Especially when I joined KU, I joined with a background of a diploma graphic design. So that it had helped me to have some insight of what the art had. Then when I was even doing now my degree, it opened up my brain, whereby the units which I used to do, example, it is a theater, because in fine art we are given we are forced to do theater, to do literature, to do philosophy, to do fashion by force. So those one actually, it helped our fine artist skill to be more prowess in the market. And that one, it could be seen mostly in my painting work. And even when I finished like 10 years ago, 10 years ago, because I had challenge in doing my undergraduate, because I challenged doing my undergraduate 10 years ago, it opens my door in very diverse way. One, I realized that that I can express myself even with my limitations in terms of speech, which I say that is nothing impossible, even in nature in this world. Then it also gave me some opportunity to do art in a high level, even to get clients who are serious. And again, same experience also, it also pushed me also to go and even have some teaching experience and some teaching jobs in most of the schools around the city, and even at the university itself. And even that's the time where I even got some job, some teaching experience at Buruburu Institute of Fine Art. So there's a lot of things. Again, I also had the opportunity also to do what you call the commissions works in various institutions, and that one made me to have a living of myself, to live at least good life, because still I also have a story, and even to care for my environment. What asking that why did I start my master's immediately? One, I started master's immediately because I had created my name in the market, and people knew me as a professional artist, and I was engaged in a very high level engagement. Especially when I was finishing my undergraduate, that is where I also developed my writing skills, presentation skills, whereby I used also to travel across the world. So there was a need for me to have a continuing study, now to sharpen now my skill more in that field which I'm making more of the discussion. That's how I actually joined immediately when I finished that my undergraduate. For me, art has been working for my life and it has transformed me, and it has enabled me to overcome life challenges, even inherent challenges like my speech stammerer. So by doing your art consistently, one, you are letting your brain to express itself, and as your brain expresses itself, it solves some issues around your life. It even removes some obstacles that you have been living for a long time. By again doing this art, like me, I term myself as an artist, but the truth of the matter, I'm also a writer, I'm also a philosopher, I'm also a public speaker. I've traveled across the world in speaking. Why? Because the art which I was doing transformed my brain. Then it has also pushed my life and my inherent thinking to have a good association, whereby I don't look more into my limitations, but because I paint, because I draw, it's again makes me to overcome about it. So I urge you, keep drawing. Again, don't draw because you want money, you want to fix your life, you want maybe to express something that is not in your life, but let it makes you a better person. As a teacher, I can tell you that there's more and more stories that I've read from art people who have been painting and art, and they have transformed them. One of them, you know them, it is the late George Bush. He is a president. Yes, he is a president. Why? Because he used to draw. Because I've been passionate about being an artist, I felt that by me going into masters, and master, it is a vigorous exercise, it is a research exercise, it will expose me into more discourses and more areas about art. And because of what art has done myself and in my life, I picked painting, because it is an expressive subject. And then in painting, I'm also looking at the materials and culture, because I feel currently in my studies, I feel that our culture currently is being eroded because of the Western influence, because of the assimilations, because of the urbanism, because of the so many things. So people are not embracing their own Africanness, their own tribe. So me, I'm now studying that one. Then I'm also using the material that is available with you, the natural material. Can we use the natural material to just speak and explore about our culture, about our heritage? So that is where I'm looking at my studies. Then in my studies, I've also linked it with many other disciplines, such as history, even cultural history, such as education, such as African art, lifestyles, and even the contemporary world that we're in. So that is my study area, and I'm also privileged that I've been writing a lot about it and even discussing in my conferences around the world. African art, I look at African art based on the artist himself, comes from the Africa. The environment an artist is, the background, the heritage, and the influences that are within African and Africa context. So if you do an art like me, if I do a painting, I would like to depict those areas which have actually mentioned. I won't paint someone like a Mzungu or say a landscape from say other areas, but I look at it in African. I'll also look at it with their cultures and heritage that are there in Africa. So this will go across now into fashion. If I'm doing fashion, okay, this is not African, but if I'm doing fashion, is there some environmental influence of the African on it? if I'm doing photography, making a photo, am I depicting aspect of the semi-African on it? If I'm doing theater, fashion, if I'm writing literary articles like Chinua Achebe, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, are they depicting African on it? Areas which I've mentioned, those are what makes it now to be now an African art. Contrarily, because of the West influences, of the West ideologies, most of young artists like us, we tend to rely more into the Western influence, into the Western sphere. As a teacher, I actually get so much disgust when I tell a student to do for me a drawing, ananichorea mountain yenye iko African, ananichorea cartoons and that one. He's not into their own environment, into their Africanness, and which is one of the most rich area. I can say very, very confidently that art has transformed me, not just to be a painter, person who just sit in canvas and nachora na chini, but also to be a writer. And it has also spurred me also to have interest in what to call current affairs and in education. I remember that I wrote a paper many years ago. It's called Dynamics of Art and Craft Curriculum. This is a paper which came when CBC was starting, and the paper is highlighting the meaning of art, why art is needed for the young people, how art transforms someone into another sphere, how art can make a living for someone. In this paper, I have actually discussed many critical areas, looking at the famous artist called Leonardo da Vinci, because Leonardo da Vinci is an artist who was known in this world until today, that he was transformed to become an engineer, to become a stage manager, to become a philosopher, to become a naturalist through art. And the paper, it has been read so widely across the world. I remember when I was writing this paper, I was disguised by many, many niches, skeptics, rejectists, but with my persistency, I did this paper. I also traveled, by the way, to India. This paper, it was chosen to India. I was supposed to travel to India to go and present the paper, but because of the corona, I was not able to actually travel to corona. This paper, I always realized yesterday that it is one of the most cited and most readable paper, and it is brushing shoulders with scholars around the world. And I urge you guys, my friend, my parents or other parents, that if you want to transform your children, get the paper, read it, and it will transform it. Why creativity and why art? Vision 2030, SDGs, they're looking at they're looking at their human capital to transform their economy. Currently in the world, that is their goal and that is their future. This paper have highlighted some of the aspects and some of the critical area, how it contributes to the Vision 2030, it contributes to the creativity, to the innovation, and even to the economic, and even to the economy of Kenya. It has also gone further and even addressed the issues of mental issues, such as cerebral palsy, autism, and how these art activities in the CBC can transform that child or even heal that child. Then this paper, it has also looked at a key study area of a child, which was given a permission to do such a research of how this art works in this child. And it has highlighted some of the key areas. You read that paper and the recommendation. It is a good paper to read, and it is a good paper even to just use it as a basis of your children. There's this artist called Andy Warhol. And Warhol is he's an artist of 1970 and 1960. He's the one who removed the elitism in art to the common 190. Because art, previously it had regarded as for only the elitist. The queen were painted, the high families, some certain people, especially in the Paris, an exhibition called Salon Paris. That's how art used to be actually regarded. And you even understand that at that time, artists used to get money, used to get wealthy, used to get gigs from the exhibition. But when this Andy Warhol came, he said, no, we're not going to paint good art, perfect art, which I've also discussed in my other paper, perfect art, but an art that is expressive, an art that can reach the local person, the local Mwananchi. And for him, he brought this art whereby we could use pop art, we could use papers to print, we could paint, draw in any other surface. That's what they are. So currently, art is not for the elitist. Art is for everyone. I can also add something. Art was also used in United States of America as a protest art, whereby the blacks, they were protesting their own price using art. So that it was again in 1960 when this Andy Warhol said that no, art cannot be used just for just elite people, but it can be trickled down now into protest, into common person, and even just expressing your thought of what someone is doing. That's how art is it. I am an impressionist, realist painter. For me, I used black strokes and color to capture some scenes or to capture some subject matter, which I will just capture it, but try to bring a realistic way of looking at it. So that is some of the style. And this is the style which I developed when I was at the university. And currently I'm also still developing that style in my painting. What is the future of authentic art? And that is a study which I'm doing. That is a study which I'm doing because authentic art is facing the technology and the internet influence, whereby the touch, the intuition, the expression of the art is being eroded from the art itself. So that is a danger for artists to express their art, and even for receiver to receive that art. Let us use this technology, the AI, the internet, the Google, just as an aid to enhance our authenticity, but not as a tool to drive it. Because when we do as a tool to drive it, it loses authenticity. That shows that it's not going to communicate to any person. It's even not going to be a therapy for you and for other person. That's why I decided to mostly focus into painting and even do some study about now the science bit, the brain bit, like the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, which we're going to discuss next year. How it talks to the art, and how it is a therapy and expression to one of the individual. In my journey as an artist, I've faced many challenges in terms of the resources, in terms of the support, and even in terms for the chair. I know this goes to every artist in this country, in this world. Currently, I have embarked into my master's project, which is looking at how I can use these natural pigments as a palette to depict the paintings of our own culture. And this project is costing me 500,000 shillings, 500,000, because one, I'll have to go to the field, maybe in Kisumu, maybe in Mombasa, to do an ethnographical fieldwork of this culture. Then also to even identify some of the materials which are there. Then come to the laboratory, try to come up with a pigment, see how this pigment is going to work, then depict this culture that is being eroded. This study, it will take me like 1 year to complete it, and I have a challenge of a financial constraint. So I call upon your support, I call upon your plea, even prayers, that can you come and support this study through the M-Pesa number and even the pay bill number which is there. I also want to express my thankfulness for those who have come overwhelmingly to support this study. I've received a lot of M-Pesa, I've received a lot of pay bill, and I thank you so much. And I promise that I will come again here to do a big exhibition, to launch an exhibition with the publication of the study, with the books, and even with some of the artifacts, which I'm intending to have like 50 to 60 paintings on this culture and a lot of drawings. So I appeal for you for the support through this M-Pesa and through this pay bill. Thank you so much.